Hey, Liam Ward here at LearnTheHarmonica.com. Today we're talking turnarounds. Grab your C harmonica and stick around. So if you're serious about being a blues harmonica player, you need to master every single section of the 12-bar blues. And one of the sections which is often overlooked, forgotten, or just put in as a throwaway thing, an area for nothing playing, is the turnaround. If you enjoyed today's lesson, make sure you subscribe to my channel and click the notification bell to get free harmonica lessons every single week. So the turnaround, for the purposes of today's lesson, is the last two bars of the 12-bar blues. And most often, that is the 1 chord for 1 bar and then the 5 chord for the very last bar. There are other ways of doing it. Sometimes you stay on the 1 chord for both bars, or you go to the 5 a little bit later just for the last couple of beats of the 2nd bar, and there are various different ways, but that's a very common way, 1 chord and then the 5 chord. So we're kind of assuming that with this, because that's the most common way. Now what usually happens is people play the same thing every time. Now we're going to look at trying to expand and give you a variety of stuff to do there, because it's one of those zones that, because everyone's doing the same thing, if you make the effort and learn even just a few extra licks, then you will stand out as a harp player, and people will, their interest will be kind of piqued when you get to that section of the 12-bar blues, instead of just going, same old thing, you know, same kind of thing that people play. It might not be even something that you're that aware of, so I hope that this is going to bring attention to it. So in today's YouTube lesson, I'm going to give you 3 basic licks for the turnaround. The first one you might be familiar with, you might be playing it already. The other 2 are slightly different, and at least that will give you 3 to get you started with, which means already you're kind of expanding what you'd already do. Now, if you'd like to further work on your turnarounds, I've put together a premium lesson of 20 licks that I've written myself, and they have some really cool playing in them. They kind of increase in terms of complexity and I think interest and variation, use some bends and warbles and stuff. We're just gonna, in today's YouTube lesson, do kind of 3 basic ones, just mainly with single notes, so hopefully they'll be available to all levels. The lesson of 20 should be good for all levels, but it progresses, so it'll push you to some more intermediate stuff as well. So hopefully if you're thinking of pushing your playing and you want to expand your variety, then check that out. There's a link beneath the video if you do want to do that. And if you enjoy my premium lessons, make sure you check out my members zone. For a monthly fee of $19.99 a month, you can get access to all of my premium lessons and tabs through my website. Okay, so let's get on with lick 1, and this is almost the default lick, or one of the very common things that people do on a turnaround. So I want to start with this just because it's an easy route into kind of, well, what are we doing here? What are we talking about with these turnarounds? So remember, we're doing the last 2 bars of a 12-bar blues. So it tends to go something like this. That's a really common way of playing that turnaround. And that's actually our lick number 1 for this lesson. So we're going to start with that and then branch out from there. So the tab for that is, it's all just kind of the 2 draw to begin with. So you've got da, 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 5 of those 2 draws, and then you go to a 2 blow and then 1 draw twice. So. And you'll notice that a lot of these licks contain that 1 draw as the final note. They don't all do that, especially some of the later ones in the premium lesson, but to begin with, most of our notes are, or most of our licks, sorry, are going to finish on that 1 draw. The reason is that it makes sense if you're going to the 5 chord right at the end. That 1 draw is the root note of that 5 chord, so it fits and it sounds nice. The bigger picture is it's just become such a kind of common thing to do that's just what people tend to do almost out of habit. So I'm going to try and, with some of the later licks, force you out of that habit. But to begin with, we just want to get comfortable with playing in that section. So that first one is almost a default one to go to. Now if we look at lick 2, we're going to move slightly away from that. Okay, so lick 2 goes like this. So kind of rhythmically similar, but the note selection is different. So we've got 2 draw twice, and then 3 draw, 2 draw. And then 2 draw, 3 draw, 2 draw, 1 draw. Ba 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 da dum. If you wanted to put a little bit of a scoop on those 3 draws, or kind of some texture, some kind of chordal texture, or even kind of putting some bend on the 2 draw, kind of bending it down from the natural note, you could do, but I want to leave this open to all levels, so I'm playing them quite basic, quite kind of just clean single notes, but be aware, of course, you can add your own, whatever techniques you're familiar with and kind of like using, you can of course add in. Okay, so lick 3. So we're introducing here a double stop. So we're just playing 2 notes at once. So 3 and 4 draw, and we're playing that for a full bar. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we play that 3, 4 draw again, and then 1 draw twice. Now bear in mind with those double stops, if you've not really played those before, if they're not kind of something you're familiar with, there's a difference between a double stop and then a messy note. So when you start out as a beginner, most of the notes you'll play will be a kind of where you're getting more than 1 note at once. But the difference here is we're choosing 2 specific notes, targeting those notes and playing them consciously, intentionally. So there's a difference between kind of aiming for a 3 draw and not getting it, and then choosing to play a 3 and a 4 draw. So we're trying to get an even mix between the 3 and the 4, and we're not getting the 2 or the 5 draw in there. Okay, so just something to bear in mind. So that's the first 3 licks of my turnaround lesson. Now, my intention and my hope here is that I've given you something to try out, just something a little bit different when it gets to that part of the 12-bar blues. It's something I hear all the time, that people playing the same thing. So you've already got 3 to get you started, and you can come up with variations of those yourself. But if you'd like to have 20 licks, and they get really, really cool, they get a lot more fun, I think, than that. They're not all just around holes 1 and 2. So if you'd like to learn those, I have a premium lesson, and you can find that via the link beneath the video. If you enjoy my premium lessons, do consider becoming a member of my Members Zone. I give you access to all of my premium lessons and the tabs, and it costs just $19.99 a month. And if you sign up as a yearly member, then you get 2 months absolutely free as well. So check out the link beneath the video today. Before you go, make sure you subscribe to my channel and click that bell to get free harmonica lessons every single week.